All right, happy witch an hour. Hello, it's High Priestess Jamila. So, I wanted to come and talk to y'all, give y'all a little bit of education. Unfortunately, I can't really give you like exact details on how to deal with bad Reiki practitioners. Um, but there is a very effective way of dealing with them. I actually really like Reiki practitioners. I've actually had the pleasure of having a few clients that are Reiki masters. And just to go over with y'all what Reiki is, Rei meaning universal energy, Ki, well, Rei means universal, Ki means energy. Okay. And so it's all about, um, it's actually an old art that has been brought back and renewed And this is where someone can, it's kind of similar to witchcraft, but no, it's right on the tip. It can be helpful, it can be useful, but it can also be used to cause harm. And what I found is that I have ran into quite a few Reiki masters who came to me for readings because they were trying to figure out what was going on with them, why they were experiencing certain things, headaches, body aches, health problems, um, financial issues, relationship problems. And I'm going to tell you straight up, the reason why is because of bad spirits. Okay. And them not really knowing how to get rid of these bad spirits, them not really knowing. And honestly, I don't mean to speak bad about the church. I'm not going to say that about every single priest or minister, because some of them, I believe that they are damn near like witches. Okay, so there's some good ones and there's some bad ones out there as far as when it comes to priests. I believe that witches, especially witches that know, we understand how to banish bad spirits and even energy. So that's something that we were born with, that wisdom. We had that was something that was inside of us, which is why when we were awakened, we didn't really have to be taught. Even if there was no information out there about witchcraft, I believe that we would still know what to do innately. We would know what to do about this situation, as far as like with sulfur, black salt, smoke, certain waters, and herbs and things of that nature. We would know how to banish a malevolent spirit, okay, because we was born with that. But I think that we were sort of forced to forget, because I guess people like to take advantage. Anyway, let's get back to the so a possessed Reiki person could possibly fall off, because what they are doing is they are seeing clients, and they factually do absorb bad spirits. If they're not dealing with bad spirits during that time of that session that they are having, or if they fail to clear themselves, if they are not disciplined enough, a negative spirit can then get in them and squat. And I always say that if you don't clear yourself immediately, you have at least 7 days, at least a week after you do a session, even a reading, even if you're doing a psychic reading, spirits can jump on people. And they can sometimes, like, I feel like what bad spirits do is they hang around because they're very attracted to our auras and our energies. Okay. And if they are able to penetrate, if the protection is not good enough, and let's keep it real, there are a lot of people who obviously don't have good enough protection, because I feel like protection needs to come from, I feel like the best protection you would have to get that wisdom from the pentacle, which is earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. And since so many people reject that, they usually don't have the die-hard protection that they need. They could very easily become possessed and go out there and start emitting bad energy. This is where somebody is projecting a so when you hear somebody say, "Oh, I'm a Reiki master or a Reiki practitioner," that doesn't mean that they are a good person. That doesn't mean that they have a good intent. Or that, now if a bad spirit gets a hold of you, it can cause you to attack people unprovoked. This is where you guys are seeing these unprovoked attacks, where you're seeing where these people just randomly, they're attacking and they're possessed. So a Reiki master can have the same exact thing happen, just like a witch, just randomly attacking people, randomly, which really it's a cry for help. Over here, what we do, because I actually had the pleasure of having a client a few years ago that was dealing with a bad Reiki practitioner. And what they can do is they can energy harvest. These are some of, they do a lot of that. Okay, if and you have to be careful, because if a Reiki practitioner is not well versed in spirit, and I'm sorry, you don't hear too much about the church exorcising people without killing them. I mean, it's been horror stories. So, I think that there are people that, they don't really know how to let go or either progress past that. Do I feel that? Do I really feel like, okay, I'm going to tell y'all how I really feel. I feel that a lot of us witches have more capabilities of providing a safe exorcism for someone that is possessed more than a priest or even a preacher. I do. And when a lot of people think about it, they think about it from the perspective of, that's why I use a picture of the exorcist girl, and um, like I said, I'm not speaking negatively about all of them, but I think that, again, um, I've always felt like Christianity was for men, and there's a lot of people that agree with me. Okay. Do I feel that women can benefit from the ministry? Yes, I do. But I think that it doesn't compare to a witch. Nothing compares to witchcraft. Nothing, honestly. And, this is the reason why Christians and Catholics, they adapt very well to witches, especially when it comes to witches that know what the heck they're doing. Okay. So they will mess with you. No, they do not have to be sitting right in front of you to do that. That's what y'all need to know. They're not going to tell you the truth. You don't have to be sitting right in front of somebody or even touching somebody to transfer energy to them. Okay, you can do it through technology. You can do it through black mirrors. You can do it through scrying. You can do it through wands to project negative energy to people. And if you see one that is possessed, that is obviously possessed, how do you know somebody is possessed? They are attacking you unprovoked. That's typically how we recognize possessed people. Okay. So you can literally just be living your life, and y'all see it and witness it every single day in social media. They are attacking people unprovoked, starting a bunch of stuff, starting a bunch of chaos. That person is possessed. Okay. The thing about Reiki is that they can really manipulate a person's emotions a whole lot. because they do know and they are trained when it comes to the chakras. And this is why I always suggest for witches to educate themselves on the chakras. There are some of us that don't. You don't have to. If your spiritual practice is working for you, then it's working for you. Okay. So I'm not saying that everybody has to, but I think that if you are at high risk, which I think that sometimes there are many factors that can put you at high risk for, various attacks. I think that it can step up your game as a witch, though, understanding the art of healing through the chakras and healing your mind, your body, and your spirit. But I feel like, that's going to depend on your trigger factors or whatever it is that you know about. Because many of us come from many, many different perspectives. So everybody don't have to think the same. Everybody has the right to their own opinion. Um, I think that chakra education is useful. I have been, since I started my practice, it's always had a focus on the chakras. Does that mean that I'm not a traditional witch? No, it just means that it's, maybe that's my connection. You know what I'm saying? So, there's a specific ritual that you have to do to combat somebody that's practicing Reiki specifically. And if they are possessed, they have to be binded. That energy that they are projecting, or if they are taking energy or projecting energy, they have to be binded if they're doing harm to people. Okay. So, that's where being a witch comes in handy because honestly, I think that witches surpass a lot of that because nobody who has time all day. Like, if I'm going to spend my time meditating, it's going to be to heal myself, my family, the people close to me, my clients, manifesting things that I want. Whereas if you have a bad Reiki technician or practitioner, I said technicianer, if you have one of those, they're spending a certain amount of time per day if they are possessed or either just have a foul, bad intent. They will meditate at certain various times of the day. They can be hired just like a witch to try to curse somebody or manipulate their energy. So nobody has time for that. Who has time for that? Nobody. So that's why there is a permanent way of binding them. And you can do it in various ways, but there's a really, really good way of doing it that's very fast, and they won't try that crap no more. They won't even try it, and a lot of people when they get their negative energy back, a lot of people that do have good sense, they won't even try it anymore. But common sense ain't common these days. So they can try it. It doesn't mean that it won't backfire. For example, if you do the correct thing, and I cannot tell y'all what that is, because if I tell y'all what that is, they don't even know what it is. So I can't just tell you. Okay. I can't just tell you because what they'll do is, they'll probably talk to their spirit guides that will give them some guidance on what they can do to counteract what we do about it. And we don't need that. Okay, we don't, yeah, no. We don't need that because they need to learn that karmic lesson because they're going to have to learn it at some point anyway. So they need to get that energy back to them because it can be very destructive. They can be very destructive. Reiki practitioners are not all good people. They're not just automatically good people. In fact, there is, if you actually do research on it, if you Google it, there's a lot of people that will complain of a healing crisis. And what a healing crisis is, it's a temporary kind of shock wave to the system that can make you feel a little physically, emotionally, and spiritually disoriented. That should only be temporary, though. And so that's why my client that came to me a few years ago, she had symptoms afterwards that got progressively worse because that Reiki practitioner did not have good intentions. She didn't have good intentions towards her. Okay. So, the lady came to me and, she needed me to handle that situation. Um, and so, but a permanent binding, and let me tell you something, the stuff that this lady was projecting to her, she was afraid to tell me who the hell it was. Y'all go to a bad practitioner, y'all need to tell me who it is. They can do nothing about it. We have so many ways of dealing with that. And I've been doing this for 10 years while being attacked left and right. I got people attacking me from the north, the south, the east, and the west, all the way around the equator. Okay. All the way from the North Pole to the South Pole. You can have enemies attacking you from all angles. And it just is what it is. Why? Because people are not making sound decisions. It's not up to you to destroy them or kill them. It's not about that. Everybody always is focused on that, and no, that's not what it is. But what you can do is bind the hell out of that person to where they attempt to send you bad energy, they get it back instantaneously. After a person goes through that so many times, they will eventually learn. Although, what I've realized is that some people are just gluttons for punishment, you know. And I could see a coven adding somebody that knows about Reiki to the fold so they can do either good or evil. I mean, it's so silly to even do that. How can you say that you are spiritually evolved when you're doing certain things for what? What purpose does it serve for them? It doesn't. And I'm not saying that people can't curse people freely, but I think people need to think about that. You just don't go and just randomly start attacking people because you never know what people know. Okay. So, for example, if you had a Reiki person that decided, oh, I'm going to get up every day and I'm going to direct negativity towards somebody. And if they get up the next morning and they do that and they end up with a slamming ass headache, okay, along with some curse, because all curses are not bad. Sometimes people need to look at what they're doing to themselves. You don't have the right to do that. And so people, when they hear Reiki, they instantly think, that's a good thing. No, Reiki people can be bad as well. I've been knowing this for a very long time, especially the past couple of years when I had somebody come to me. And, if that's all they know is Reiki and they don't really have the basic knowledge of spirits, then they could very well pick up a spirit that possesses them, and now they out there doing stupid, crazy stuff. So, they can get got any way that they want. And I think that the reason why people gravitate towards Reiki, especially, first of all, the church completely rejects Reiki along with witchcraft. So I don't know why it makes them feel better to deal with Reiki, because the church doesn't allow it anyway, along with yoga and other practices as well as meditation. Okay. But I think to make themselves feel better, they feel like they want to dabble. Reiki is dabbling, unless you are a witch that is using Reiki, unless you are an experienced witch, that, because witches can use Reiki, especially us healing witches. We can use the Reiki frequencies. I mean, what we do when it comes to Reiki is basically the same thing. The only difference is that we know more. And you're not going to necessarily just have good results with somebody, because if a person is possessed by a malevolent force that causes them to do odd, strange things, like attacking people randomly, weirdness, as I call it, they're going to project that out to their Reiki clients because they're possessed. Do they really have a feasible way of ridding themselves? I guess some of them do, but some of them obviously don't. A person attacking people at random, okay, and forming these karmic cords to somebody randomly, that is going to lead them to do nothing but ultimately do harm to self. And not many of us witches, we can recognize, like, okay, for me, I can recognize people that need help. Am I going to necessarily help them? No, I'm a witch. I'm evil. In that perspective, everybody has the right to do defensive magic. Nobody has the time, especially post pandemic. Nobody has time for people that don't have their shit together spiritually. You better have it together, because listen, nobody has to be a saint. Nobody has to be a saint. Somebody trespasses on you, you don't owe them nothing. So just some random person, you supposed to just deal with their problems. Oh, let me send this person. Oh, I'm going to exercise you of an entire, but that's not my business. So you don't just go around exercising people of malevolent spirits just at random. You don't do that. I would never, ever advise somebody in doing that, because it ain't your business. Mind your business. When you are out there as a working witch, and I'm talking specifically to my apprentices, it is your business when people come to your business. Otherwise, it ain't your business, because you just never know what karmic judgment is on that person, and you just don't randomly do that. That's why the church doesn't even do it. Now, if it's a person that's a client or either family members, I charge family members for spiritual work. Okay. Oh, and I have a close cousin of mine who probably will be making a guest appearance. It just depends. I'm gonna ask her how she feels about making a guest appearance. Hey, Shireen Ladson, hello. I'm gonna ask her about that, because she's into Reiki, and we speak every now and then. I think I may have her because she's certified in Reiki as well. But she's always asking for my advice because, if you don't really know about witchcraft, you know, so I have family members that are apprentices too. They learn from me. Okay. Um, and so, yeah, you have to be concerned about that. And when I first expressed concern about this, sometimes people are so possessed that they don't even know what's good for them. I let people know that we're into Reiki, and I did a reading for somebody. And they were a Reiki practitioner, and they were drained. They were feeling very negative. They were not feeling well. The lady was telling me about all of her issues, and obviously there was bad spirits on her. Believe it or not, first of all, ritual is very powerful. Okay. So if you do have a feasible way of doing a cleanse, then you're good as gold. Some of the cleanses that I have seen out here are subpar because I am one that believes in not just doing one way of cleansing, but doing several. So this is the reason why if you are a client that is getting a cleanse, I will have instructions for you to do at home. Okay, which is typically bathing. But then sometimes I will have you do an egg cleanse, and you don't actually crack the egg. If you do an egg cleanse, if you do an egg cleanse at home, I do not suggest cracking the egg. Either toss it in the garbage, don't crack the egg, or bury it. But I don't have you guys do it that way though. I just have you bathe, and I do the rest here. The best way to cleanse is with fire, because fire is very transformative, and it's very transformative very quickly. The energy of fire is quicker than air, if you ask me. But even though it takes air to make fire, it actually takes what's called like static electricity energy to make fire. So that's why all of my cleanses are typically done with some kind of fire element. There's no way that I would ever, if somebody purchased a cleanse from me, that I wouldn't either use a 7-hour candle or a 7-day candle. If you're not using certain materials though, and I don't like to give away my secrets, and I heard another person saying this, that maybe it is a bad thing. I don't think it is, though. I think that people should be cautioned. I think people should be cautioned with just doing things and understanding the repercussions of it, especially when it comes to doing black magic, love spells, obsession spells, and even sometimes money spells, or rituals. And so, I think that when people have that information and they want to use it, so I don't really want to divulge that because I've had people do that. I've had people try to emulate what I do, and it's obvious that they have done nothing but done harm to themselves and that they need guidance. So I would say that if you're going to do that, because I have a lot of witches that are at various levels, beginner, intermediate, and advanced, and they do come to me for advice and even spiritual classes. I'm not saying that I know everything, but y'all got to understand that when, like, I literally in 2013, I jumped into this feet first, and I had to learn the hard way. So I've been through a lot, and I know some things. But you know what? Sometimes when I talk to y'all, y'all teach me stuff sometimes that I didn't know about. So we are all a very valuable source of information and support for one another. You know what I'm saying? Um, so, but yeah, the I would say that, and like I said, there's a specific ritual that my spirit guides gave me quite some time ago to deal with, and it's already out there. I'm not going to say specifically what it is, but it's very important for you to know how to deal with that, so that somebody that is working with energy, okay, that they can't just project or send you bad energy just whenever they want to. Because, like I said, they may not make the best decision, okay? They may not be doing things that are kosher or right. So, yeah, I have quite a few clients that are that practice Reiki, and a lot of them were kind of disappointed. And I've actually saved their careers because I don't think it's anything wrong with it. Just like I don't believe it's anything wrong with acupuncture. Okay, but I do believe that there can be a dark side to everything, and dark is not always bad. There can be a negative side to everything. And so Reiki practitioners, they have to come to the right person. If they don't know how to cleanse themselves and, get rid of a bad spirit. And bad spirits can convince you that you need them and you don't. Because I've seen a lot of people under possession by bad spirits. These are unfamiliar spirits that you don't know. Most of us should have our warrior spirits, but your ancestors and spirits and spirit guides, they will walk away from you if you out there doing stuff unorthodox, and they can be binded too. So a person's spirits and warrior ancestors, if they are harming someone, yeah, as a high priestess, I can put them somewhere. They'll be gone. So, they shouldn't be doing the evil bidding of people, especially people that don't deserve it. Many of you guys are under attack, and you just literally was minding your own business, and something unfamiliar comes into your spirit or comes to you, and then the next thing you know, things are up and down. And they are choosing people randomly in social media, like that movie Get Out. I think that a lot of people said, I'm going to get out of social media, which is fine, but there are many of us that have to be in social media for our businesses. And I think, social media is very groundbreaking when it comes to every company or business. And there's problematic people everywhere. They don't just affect spiritual businesses, they affect all businesses. Okay. Hey, Latoya, happy witching hour to you too, sweetie. So, I mean, just make sure that you're educated on that. Don't just be thinking, oh, Reiki, oh, that's a good thing. And, this person could literally have a very hateful, spiteful spirit inside of them that may not always manifest itself. Okay. It may not always manifest itself, but, a malevolent spirit kind of is not, they don't discriminate. There are certain requirements if I were to ever go to, but I do my own Reiki. I mean, that's something that when I look at what Reiki people do, I mean, we're already doing that as witches. Um, if I were going to choose a Reiki practitioner, I'm not trying to step on nobody's toes, but it's certain behaviors that you randomly attacking people in social media and you're hiding it from your clients, just randomly starting crap with people, and for what? How much of a master are you when you feel slighted? There's really no reason why a person shouldn't be manifesting, even if it's late. That saying, delayed but not denied. Why aren't people manifesting at all? Why isn't it manifesting? It's probably something that they're doing. They need to look at themselves. So a lot of times, what I can pick up on is that when people are having problems and issues and they're blocked, the first thing that they want to do is they want to start attacking people. But sometimes you have to look at yourself. And one of the best things for you to do, if you feel like you're not manifesting, is clearing yourself, exercising your property. Um, I know that I just recently cleaned all the doors in my house. If you're getting a road opener or you want to open up doors, then you want to use some kind of spiritual spray, cleansing concoction to cleanse the doorways of your home, and maybe even sometimes the walls need to be scrubbed down. So I had everybody do that. Hopefully they did it. And so you really have to know how to, and a lot of people can't cleanse themselves. That's just like stones. The selenite wand is the only I believe that I've heard of that cleanses itself and cleanses other stones. uh which makes it supreme, right? But the same thing when it comes to quartz. Even the quartz crystal can't cleanse itself. You have to have some kind of selenite or something. Okay, there's other things that will clear crystals other than selenite. So that's just the same thing with that. Everybody can't clear themselves. Every night before I go to sleep, I say my exorcism incantation. It clears me. If I ever feel too tired to do it, I will get up and I will drink me a spot of coffee and get it done. Because that incantation, the one that I do in Latin, sometimes it ain't easy for people to say it. You're trying to cleanse yourself. And, it's not to say that people are not valuable if they can't cleanse themselves. You just have to be honest with yourself. If you don't actually have the capability of cleansing yourself, then you just don't. And it doesn't mean that you are less valuable or that your magic is less valuable. It just means that, and see, that's why there's a lot of people that have, their spiritual leaders that they go to. But, there's a lot of you that don't need to go to somebody. You are your own boss. I mean, you know. So watch out for that. In fact, I would never go to a Reiki practitioner or a witch without checking their background. And yeah, there are people that will do smear campaigns against people. If somebody starts a smear campaign against somebody, I wouldn't trust them as a practitioner. If they're like literally lying on somebody, like that's like red flag right there. Um, but you do need to check somebody's background. And I do believe that there's ways of doing that. I kind of think that there's like a secret website, but I think that it's been infiltrated essentially because I think that there's a lot of people that are doing things uh very unorthodox even for witchcraft. They're doing very unorthodox things that they don't even have to do. Like why are you doing that? You ever see somebody doing something that's like what why why are you doing that? And most of the time it's because they need some help. A high priestess more than likely is going to be able to cleanse themselves. An actual high priestess. And there are some people they want to be a high priestess, but that's a huge responsibility. High priestesses are it okay, you want to be a high priestess, you realize that you literally are standing between the veil of life and death. And you have to be very strong in your convictions, educated, and then vetted. Okay. If I were not a high priestess, I wouldn't call myself one. That's what my spirit guides guided me towards. Hey, Laverne Cheesecakes. That's what they guided me towards. So that's what I am. If I were a psychic witch, I would just say I'm a psychic witch. I wouldn't call myself a high priestess. That's a huge responsibility. And there's a lot of people that want that responsibility, but I feel that if you are, you are. If you're not, you're not. People like to pretend that their actions towards you proves whether or not you're a priestess or a high priestess. Go figure. Oh, well, look at me. I'm doing this and I'm saying this about you. It doesn't change who you are, right? So, you know, and a lot of you guys are high priestesses, and that's why you have so many issues. Doesn't change who you are. Your location doesn't change who you are. How people treat you doesn't change who you are because a lot of people are just backbiting, jealous, haters, and clout chasers. So, you should never, ever judge yourself based upon that because they are not in their higher self at all. Um, anyway, I wanted to come and let y'all know that. What you cooking? You know what? I was supposed to make a crab dip, a baked crab dip, and I didn't get my cream cheese. And so, because, I use Instacart and my shopper didn't replace my cream cheese. Yeah, I don't know why. I guess maybe, I don't know why they do that. So I can't make it until later today. I can't make of course, imitation crab meat. Okay. But I'm going to really, really, really do that crab meat up. In fact, I think um, I'm going to marinate that crab meat for several hours before I actually make my crab dip. I'm gonna put some cuz I don't know. I'm I haven't had seafood since I was like 9 years old. and I miss it. I'm allergic to it. Okay, I'm allergic to shellfish. I'm allergic to shrimp. Well, I've never had lobster. I've only eaten shrimp, and so based upon the reaction to shrimp, I ain't eating no lobster or anything else in the shell. But and I know for a fact that I'm allergic because I get the same reaction every single time. It's awful. It's horrible. But ever since I tasted it, I've had a taste for it because I was fed it at a very young age as a baby. So I want to try to make my crab taste as much like actual crab as possible. So I'm gonna and I've been having cravings for shrimp scampi because I'm a huge garlic lover. So I'm gonna marinate it in garlic and probably lemon juice or something so that I can make it taste like as much as seafood as possible. And I got some salmon too. I saw this really good recipe on TikTok. TikTok got a bunch of good recipes. They got a lot of food satire too, but they got some good recipes on there. And this lady made a crab dip. Of course, I'm trying to think, did she use imitation? I think she used real crab, but she made a crab dip, and she like made some salmon and had like these individual little sandwiches, and they had like little pieces of salmon on top of them on like some baguette bread or French bread. So I want to make that. That's exactly what I'm making actually. Ooh, girl. mm. Ooh, I love the Cornish hen and the smoked turkey, green beans, and peach cobbler. Yes. So anyway, let's get off of food. I was raised a kitchen witch. So it's certain foods that you can eat that bring you good luck. And I'd say all of that is gonna bring you very good luck. I know that's right. Get your cook on. So anyway, y'all be careful out there, man. Just be careful out there. Okay, even with some of these people that are claiming to be witches, I would say something, but I have 100% love in my witchy self and my witchiness. I was going to say, who in the earth wants to be a witch? Sometimes I would, and I'm not like this is like some kind of alternate universe or paradox that I'm looking at. You know, being a just a Christian wife and Susie Homemaker, it seems like it would be less complicated than being a witch. I don't think so. For real. So I was thinking, who in the earth would want? But I think that that comes from a place to where we're constantly under judgment. And I think that anybody can be placed under judgment. I think people need to quit being so judgmental. I think that that is, something that's harming us all. Nice. Do you have a channel I can sub to? Is this your channel? Because I love my cooking channels. I sure do. I'll definitely sub to you. I love me some food. Okay. Make sure you do that money work. I don't know what people got against money work. Money manifestation is amazing. It's good. What people got against it? I don't know. I don't know what folks got against it. So, mm, mm, mm. I had, like I said, my client that I saw. Oh man, she felt totally. She went to this Reiki person, and she went for a minor issue, and this person put, I mean, just totally disheveled and just put all kind of impurities and imbalances in her chakras. Oh God, that can be very dangerous. That can be a very poisonous, dangerous person that, knows how to access somebody's aura, has education on it, and somebody that can put all of that in your spirit. Mm-mm, mm-mm. So, I'd say yes. For the first time, I've been working with stones for quite some time, but I have, increased my use of them because of some of the stuff. I mean, it's so much bad and bad things that can happen. You know, uh, with that, especially when people are not doing the right thing, because I'm just like, why would somebody take Reiki or witchcraft out there and go and do harm to people, in particular their clients? And just because you have a disagreement with somebody doesn't mean that you should attack your clients. You know how many clients I've had? Well, there's my one client, she's been with me forever, and she's like way older than me. She fusses at me sometimes, but not in a like a bad way, like she's calling me out of my name or nothing like that. But she gets, she fusses at me sometimes. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to do quality work for her. You know what I'm saying? So, but the situation was where there was a disagreement, and this person began attacking my client. Hmm. I think it's conflict resolution, Laverne Cheesecakes. I think that that's what it's about. People, it's okay. So y'all know that I have, like, I'm not a saint, but I have the patience and I'm very forgiving like a saint. So I've had people do some pretty horrible things to me that I've forgiven them for, right? Okay. Pretty much everybody know that. But like some people, they can get into a minor argument with somebody or disagreement, and it turns into a full-fledged war. And I don't think that's right. I think that that's just silly. Then to the point where they will hold on to that grudge forever. You hold on to your grudge while I'm gonna bind you in that grudge, because I don't have time for that. Like, I think that people should learn how to resolve their conflicts. 9 times out of 10, if a person just randomly has a conflict with you, that's their own inner conflict, because what are you doing? Like, especially, and people don't realize how crazy and silly that looks in social media. Like, that would be equivalent to you're just on the subway and some crazy person just starts screaming at you. And people will look like, I don't know you. Who are you? Who is this person that is just randomly, like, especially when people are, so that's their own inner conflict that they need to resolve on their own, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think it's hard for a lot of people to do that. It's really, really hard. And a lot of the times that inner conflict is coming from your ancestors and probably coming from your own bloodline. That of which it ain't nobody else's business unless you make it their business. I don't involve myself in nobody's family business, bloodline business, unless they come to me, to my business, and pay me. I got to get paid for that. Okay, I'm sorry. Otherwise, I mean, come on now, y'all. I wouldn't trust a person that tells me, hey, I'm willing to handle all of your conflicts and it's free, and people want free, but no, it doesn't work that way. Nothing is free. I think people need to really connect to source and understand why people say that. It's free, but then again, it's not free because there's a certain amount of work that you have to put into it to tap into it. And if you don't know how to do that, then you can either find out for yourself, but either way, it's still going to take some kind of effort on your part. And that's called energy. So your money and your prosperity does convert to your energy. Now, there is a lot of energy harvesting going on. And I'm going to tell y'all, people that practice bad Reiki can definitely energy harvest. Or what they will do is, it's almost tapping into an ancient art that can slow stuff down. Why they would be out there attacking witches is unbeknownst to me, because a witch is going to figure it out and she's going to slam you. That's why I don't attack witches. Just randomly attacking a witch. Mm-mm. I like my peace. I like my life. I just don't do it, you know? And it's not to say that everybody got to be scared of witches and, witches have the right to go around and be tyrannical and diabolical and, do all kind of evil stuff. No, I'm not saying that. I feel that witches should be just and balanced and fair as well. But, it's kind of like it's all about the wisdom. Okay. I can see that you're doing that to me, and I'm going to do something that is actually very effective and has been effective for years. Hey, truly yours. It's been effective for years. It doesn't change, and unless your craft evolves. Now, my craft is definitely evolving, but there's certain staples that I will always use. Uh, Herbs, black salt, sulfur. Those are things that we kind of have to use. It's kind of unavoidable. Yeah. Well, let's face it, you know, we do our work more effectively for you when we have the essentials of life, right? So, practitioners and witches have to pay bills just like everybody else. People want to pretend as though we get some kind of pass on that. No, we have to pay taxes and we have to pay bills. Okay. And yes, I have been a practitioner that has done work out of a hotel room. When I was staying in the hotel, which was it was an amazing journey. I felt like I was on an extended vacation. Um, but there were times when my boys would be watching TV or they would be doing something different, or it would be rituals that I couldn't do in the room. And so I would have to go out to my car and and do spells and talk to clients. So it can still be effective regardless if you have a lease agreement or if you have a mortgage. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, y'all know what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I'm a give you some advice on that, Miss Laverne Cheesecakes. It takes longer to transmute energy. To transmute bad energy, it depends on your transmutation powers, which is one of the spiritual gifts that they like to harvest off of people, right? In order for them to do that, they have to send negative energy for them to do whatever they're doing. It's almost impossible. It's for them to do that, something that would hurt somebody is negative intent in the first place. So they are, and they have gotten more advanced to where they will purposely send you non-transmutable energy. So it's debatable on whether or not, or why that energy is not transmuted. And let's face it, a lot of the transmutation goddesses don't get a lot of upfront airplay. Believe it or not, there are some very unknown goddesses like Tara, or Tara is an unknown transmutation goddess. And there's another one. Kali Ma is very good at transmutation. So you got to consider that we are dealing with the element of time. And so for me, if somebody sends me negative energy, the negative energy has to go back to them, especially if they have an intent to send it every single day, or if they, you know what I'm saying? So the timing, when you have a deadline, trying to transmute that energy takes longer. Presumably, it depends on what your gifts are, but technically the universe is, let's say I decide that I'm going to kill somebody with kindness and they're attacking me. Please believe that there's a negative intent behind that kindness, and it just is what it is. You got to understand that if somebody is attacking you, you can't just throw flowers at them. You see what I'm saying? Mhm. Yeah, you're right. You don't send, yeah, no. Guys, don't waste time trying to do that. Oh, I'm going to I don't believe that that would be, but I feel like it's all about where you're at. I can't tell you that, but I'm saying that for some people's situation, somebody send you some bad negative intent, because you got to understand that it's not just about energy. It is about spirits. And the Bible can give you a lot of information, because a lot of people have vagabond spirits on them, and you got to look up that vagabond spirit. You cannot have security and stability in your life if you have a vagabond spirit. And this is not a person, but it could be a person that is possessed by that spirit. A vagabond spirit is going to keep you drifting. It's like a drifting spirit. So, for example, if you get one of those kind of spirits sent to you, then that spirit could possibly cause you to be uprooted, running from pillar to post. Hmm. So, you can't just, I mean, I think that there's a balance. I think that there are some cases, a lot of cases, where you should be love and light. For example, possibly your friends. It depends on what they're doing. Your man or your husband, your children, even sometimes your family members. It depends on what it is that they're doing. you know. So there are times when you have to be love and light. I feel like with your kids, you always got that's love and light, because your children, they are dealing with your sins and what's coming from the bloodline. So they, to me, children, your babies, they always get a pass, unless it's a lesson that you need to teach them. But I think that, that your children should definitely get that energy of love and light. As far as like kick ass energy, sometimes you just have to whoop ass when it comes to your enemies, when it comes to people that are doing you dirty. So I wouldn't even play around like that. And see, it's no excuse for people. People like that are filled with excuses. They will even lie to kick it so they can justify their behaviors. Because the hardest thing to do is to look at yourself. That's one of the hardest things to do. So yeah, there are times when, and nobody has time for that, to just have these constant disruptions. If somebody's being disruptive or causing problems in your life, just send their negative energy back to them. That it's theirs to deal with anyway. Now, if you just want some extra energy, which I don't see why somebody, because there's energy all around us. It's been storming. You can go outside and pick a leaf from a tree and you got energy. You can go and dig up some grass and you got energy. So, and I understand that the spiritual community, as far as where it's going, uh, with as far as like people sending negative energy, like I said, that's something that they, which is considered to be the bad people, they figured that out. So they did purposely try to make this energy non transmutable. So if you're going to be working with transmuting energy, I'm going to get to your question. Um, if you're working on just people that are sending you energy, just transmuting it, and you can gain more, that definitely is a possibility. But I feel like it depends on what's going on, because like I said, transmutation powers is a gift. Being able to transmute somebody's negative energy is a gift, and that is a gift that they want. Because a lot of people, if somebody attacks them, their whole world is going to fall apart. Like, it just, everything's going to fall apart. They would, whereas versus if you have somebody that has that as a gift, transmutation is actually a gift. Um, but I think that any witch can set her intent. If you feel that negative energy coming towards you all the time, then yeah, you can transmute it. But I would say, to set an intent, anything that's not transmutable, send it back. Okay. And you can't really transmute spirits unless it's just a random spirit that's hanging around your house that you need to maybe do some healing for. So that's one of the things that I do. If I do home visits, I can pick up energies and spirits in your house that is very malevolent. But then again, there are some of them that do need healing energy. And that's where the angels are going to come in. I, as a human being, would never attempt to heal a spirit. I would ask Saint Raphael to do that, straight up and down. Okay. Now, truly yours said, is cancer considered a curse? Ooh, I'm kind of scared to answer that question because of the possible risk of being flagged for medical information. But I will say that I can't answer that question, but I think that you already know what I think. I think you already know what I think. You know, and so yeah, I can't really. I'm sorry, I can't answer that question because I could get flagged for medical misinformation. But here's what I will say: there are a lot of people that have cancer or had cancer, right? And those people have overcame cancer. So it's all about. I do think that the connection between mind, body, and spirit can absolutely heal you of cancer. I think that if you do certain things to tell your body what it needs to do using various healing methods, I think that you can do it. You know, because a cancer diagnosis doesn't necessarily have to mean a death sentence. It doesn't, So it's just like any diagnosis. Okay, is what I will say. Yeah, we're not really allowed to discuss things like that on here. My family has that bad lie to kick it. I do return to sender often. Yeah, and you know what? What my spirits are trying to do, Laverne cheesecakes, is we are really, really, really wanting to use less resources. Uh, you know, eh, but yeah, it's necessary. You know what I'm saying? Now, do I think that you should have to do a return to sender like every day? You can actually do vigil candles that will, vigil is basically where you have an intent and you want it to be ongoing for a certain amount of time. But I think that if you have family issues, you're going to go through a lot of candles. You're going to go through a lot of candles, boy. You just going, boy, man, you might as well invest in some stock in some candles. So there are ways. If you have bad members of your family that are doing certain things and you know that they're doing it, then there is ways of blocking that stuff and like literally so that you know they can't. And I'm talking about binding somebody. Yeah. Oh yeah, I love Saint Raphael. He shows up in all of, like, even with my other phone, like for some reason Saint Raphael just shows up on camera for me. Like if you notice in a lot of my videos, you'll see an upside down green flame whenever I show you guys like my candles. That's Saint Raphael. And there have been times when there was one time years ago when Saint Raphael appeared to me, and it was so clearly it was him. I was really, really in a bad way. It was one of those moments that I don't have often at all, but I was really, really, really sad about something, and it involved my mother. And I said something that must have really upset Saint Raphael. And all of a sudden, because it was raining outside, all of a sudden I was standing by the window at my old house. And all of a sudden I see this big bluish greenish, almost like lightning bolt soon as I said it. And he was letting me know that his presence was there. Because anything blue green, like flashes, lights, if you see that, that's his presence. And, you know, I love Saint Raphael and Saint Michael. They are extremely useful and they don't have anything against witches or magic. Okay. You know, so I believe that everything is magical. Like I see the magic in everything. It's weird. You know, is it, I can cut an apple in half and just see the magic just coming off of it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so anyway, speaking of an apple, I have a candle creation that y'all are really, really gonna love, and y'all will see it. I'll show it to y'all sometime this week. So anyway, I'm not gonna keep y'all up because it's 4 o'clock in the morning over here. So I'm going to go because I had fallen asleep earlier and I slept for hours. I've been over here asleep. I woke up at like 2 a.m. So I'm gonna sit here and relax and meditate. Okay. So I will see y'all later. Y'all be careful out there. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be careful out there. Okay. And don't think that just because you go to somebody that practices Reiki that that's gonna, because I don't know why people, I do know why people are so down on witches. And it is because of the witches that are so out of control totally. And it's being projected to everybody. And, I'm a highly emotional person. I'm a Cancer with a Leo rising. So that means that there are times when I can be ultra in my feelings. But when I'm in my Gemini mode, that's when I'm thinking totally with 100% intellect. For real, for real. I like that part of myself, but and it's nothing wrong with that because a lot of people assume that air signs are disconnected emotionally, and that's not always true. I think that they have a tendency to be very defensive when they want to be. My grandmother used to tell me, "Why are you so defensive?" She said, "You don't." And that's a lesson that my grandmother taught me that carried forward. I think that was my Gemini side. Because there are times when you do need to defend yourself, and there are times when you don't. And I'm still reminding myself of that. Okay. Oh, you were born on a Saturday? Nice. Do you mind saying what your zodiac sign is? So I don't know. I'm also gonna go down here and get this. I'll probably wait till the morning to do it. I'm gonna make a big pan of that because I got 2 packages of the imitation crab meat. I'm gonna make a big pan of it so I can eat it for brunch and for dinner later today. So I gotta go. I will see y'all later. Y'all have a good one. Blessings to y'all. Okay. All right. Stay up. Bye.